There's a stretch of ocean where ships vanish without a trace, planes disappear mid-flight, and entire crews are never seen again. For decades, the Bermuda Triangle has been called one of the greatest mysteries on Earth. But is it really a cursed patch of sea, or just the ocean doing what the ocean does best? Today, we will go over the biggest cases of the Bermuda Triangle, the biggest theories behind them, and the truth of what's really going on. The mystery isn't built on one or two cases. It's stacked with stories that seem ripped from fiction. In 1918, the USS Cyclops, a massive Navy collier carrying manganese ore, vanished with over 300 people aboard. She was last seen sailing from Barbados toward Baltimore, but she never arrived. No distress call was ever sent, despite her being equipped with wireless telegraph. Weeks of searching by multiple Navy vessels turned up nothing. Not a single piece of debris, not an oil slick, not a body. Theories ranged from catastrophic structural failure to sudden storms to German sabotage during World War I, but after more than a century, her loss remains one of the US Navy's greatest unsolved mysteries. In December 1945, Flight 19, 5 Navy TBM Avenger bombers on a routine navigation and bombing training run, departed Fort Lauderdale in clear weather. Hours later, their leader reported his compass had failed and that they were hopelessly lost over open water. Radio operators heard confused chatter as the squadron's fuel ran low, and witnesses later described worsening weather in the area. None of the planes ever returned. Even more chilling, a Martin PBM Mariner rescue seaplane sent to find them exploded in midair shortly after takeoff, likely due to a fuel vapor ignition, killing all 13 on board. Massive search operations scoured thousands of square miles, but no survivors or confirmed wreckage from Flight 19 or the rescue plane were ever found. In 1963, the SS Marine Sulphur Queen, a 524-foot tanker loaded with molten sulfur, set sail from Beaumont, Texas, bound for Norfolk, Virginia, and was never seen again. Her last known radio message was routine, reporting nothing unusual. Then silence. When the ship failed to arrive, the Coast Guard launched an exhaustive search over 350,000 square miles of ocean. All they found were a few bits of charred debris, life preservers, and a life raft, floating far from the ship's intended route. Investigators suspected a sudden onboard explosion or catastrophic structural failure, but with no wreckage to examine, the exact cause remains a mystery to this day. And in 1976, the cargo ship SS Silvia El Asa disappeared on a trip from Brazil to Philadelphia, carrying a cargo of iron ore. She was last heard from via a standard radio transmission, reporting no problems as she crossed into the open Atlantic. Then, she simply vanished. The Coast Guard coordinated a sweeping multi-day search involving ships and aircraft, covering thousands of square miles, but found nothing. No wreckage, no lifeboats, not even an oil slick. With her crew of 37 lost without a trace, theories ranged from a sudden catastrophic hull breach to extreme weather, yet no conclusive explanation was ever found. So what's really going on here? Why have so many ships, planes, and people never returned from this geographical zone? Is there more going on here? Here are some of the theories that people have come up with over time to explain what's going on. Aliens. This theory proposes that extraterrestrials are responsible for the mysterious disappearances in the Bermuda Triangle, possibly abducting ships, planes, or entire crews for unknown purposes. People came to this idea because some vanishings seemed instantaneous, with no distress calls, radar traces, or debris, prompting speculation that something beyond human technology might be involved. However, there is no credible physical evidence to support alien abduction scenarios, no verifiable sightings linked to these cases, and investigators have found more grounded explanations for most incidents, making this theory far more popular in science fiction than in scientific circles. Time portals. This theory suggests that the Bermuda Triangle contains rifts in space-time, natural wormholes or temporal anomalies that can instantly transport ships or planes to another location or even another era. People came to this idea because some disappearances seemed to happen without warning or physical evidence, as if the craft simply blinked out of existence. Supporters often point to pilots who have reported bizarre cloud formations, strange light phenomena, or time distortions when when flying through the area. However, there is no scientific evidence for such portals, and these claims remain anecdotal, making this one of the more speculative and unproven explanations. Atlantis. This theory suggests that the Bermuda Triangle is the site of the ancient, technologically advanced civilization of Atlantis, which supposedly sank beneath the waves thousands of years ago. People came to this idea because of legends describing powerful energy crystals or advanced machines that could disrupt navigation and communication, as well as claims that unusual undersea structures have been spotted in the region. However, no credible archaeological evidence for Atlantis has ever been found in or around the triangle, and the concept itself is widely regarded by historians as a myth originating from Plato's allegories rather than historical fact. These theories are fun and certainly creative, but the truth is typically not so complicated as aliens or Atlantis. Here's the unromantic truth. The US Navy, Coast Guard, and NOAA don't see anything unusually dangerous about this patch compared to other oceans. Many triangle cases trace back to storms, mechanical failure, navigation mistakes, or just bad reporting inflamed by sensational media in the 1960s and 70s. Even the name Bermuda Triangle was coined in the mid-20th century, popularized by writers in the 1960s who wanted a memorable, marketable term. It took a series of unrelated maritime and aviation tragedies scattered over decades and vast distances and bundled them under one ominous label. This framing turned ordinary, though tragic, accidents into what seemed like a single connected phenomenon, fueling the myth and cementing it in popular culture. There are four main reasons for why so many problems take place in the Bermuda Triangle. First, the ocean itself. This corridor sits on the edge of the Sargasso Sea, a vast gyre of calm, eerily clear water, carpeted in drifting sargassum seaweed. Early sailors dreaded its windless doldrums, where ships could lie trapped for days under a blazing sun, their crews baking on deck. The dense mats of weed were said to tangle rudders and slow a vessel's escape, giving the place an almost supernatural stillness. In these dead zones, wreckage could linger for days before being caught by a current, only to be swept hundreds of miles away, making any search for survivors or debris nearly impossible. Second, the Gulf Stream. A fast, warm current rips through this region like an invisible highway, moving as much water as all the world's rivers combined. It can accelerate from calm to several knots, shifting weather patterns in minutes and creating dangerous cross currents. This powerful flow sweeps floating debris away before searchers can locate it, disperses oil slicks, and can push small boats or even larger vessels far off course in a short time. Aircraft flying low over it may encounter unexpected turbulence, and those in trouble have only minutes to call for help before they're carried far from their last known position. Third, the sky. This is where danger can materialize almost instantly. Sudden squalls can sweep across from the horizon in minutes, transforming calm seas into chaotic whitecaps. Towering waterspouts, essentially tornadoes made of water, can appear without warning, capable of ripping apart smaller vessels or knocking aircraft off course. And then there are rare but deadly rogue waves, massive isolated walls of water that can rise 50 feet or more, born from converging currents and winds. A single one of these could smash over a ship's deck or hit a low-flying plane before anyone even has time to grab the radio. Fourth, traffic and human error. This is one of the busiest shipping and flight corridors in the world, with thousands of vessels and aircraft passing through every year. The sheer volume of activity increases the odds of navigational mistakes, mechanical breakdowns, and miscommunications. In an era before modern GPS, a simple compass misreading or charting error could send a ship dozens of miles off course. Even today, sudden weather changes can catch crews off guard, and fatigue or overconfidence can compound small mistakes into disasters. More traffic means more opportunities for accidents and more stories that feed the legend. So, myth or menace? The triangle probably isn't supernatural. It's a busy, moody ocean crossroads with tricky currents and fast weather, plus decades of hype. And yet, the sea still keeps its secrets. Maybe that's why the legend refuses to sink. So what do you think? Is the Bermuda Triangle just a myth fueled by tall tales, or is there something out there we still can't explain? As